Hello friends, my name is Masood. Today we will discuss about a topic that how to use story point estimation. Friend, today's topic is very interesting and we will see this topic in detail, that how we can use the story point for estimation of tasks or stories in Scrum framework. So friend, let's just start. First of all, I have a request to please subscribe to my channel and click on the bell option as well so that my new videos can reach to you. So let's just start. How to use a story point estimation. Friend, first of all we have to understand that what does it mean by estimation before going into the deep. Friend, estimation means that whenever we are implementing projects, especially the Scrum framework use the estimation technique story point, like we have to answer two questions, that how much time is required and how much cost is required. So basically estimation concept is that we need estimation means that whenever we are planning, so we need to answer those questions, like how much time is required to accomplish any particular task and how much cost is required to accomplish that particular task. So friend, in the Scrum framework we use the concept of a story point estimation. So story point estimation concept is that, friend, first of all, see what is a story. We have to understand what is the story. Friend, a story means a functional requirement by the customer. For example, if you want to if you are implementing e-commerce solution and customer has a requirement that customer users can do the payment through the credit card. This is the user requirement, this is the functional requirement. So we will say that we will consider this as the story. Story is the functional requirement of a customer. Now friend, a story point estimation is basically a method which we use for estimation of tasks. Like in the traditional software team give estimates in a time format like days, weeks, months. Many agile teams, however, have transitions to story points. Story points rate the relative effort of work in a Fibonacci format: 0, 0.5, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 20, 40, 100. See, basically friend, here that in the traditional project management, like in waterfall, whenever we have to do the estimations, we use the man days effort. Man days effort means that, for example, 1 day required, 5 days required, 20 days are required to any to accomplish any particular task. However, in the story point concept is based on the format, like we make a baseline story and compare that story with other story and give points to that story. For example, let me give you an example here. For example, friend, just take another just take this example here. For example, you have a story, you put all the story, put all the story on the sticky notes, and just put the story on the board, and just ask everyone to in the group of Scrum team to give their points against the story points. Like for example, if there are, for example, 1 2 3, like there are multiple stories are there, and you ask the team to give points to the stories. So based on their opinions, based on their comparison, the team give story points to the story. For example, let me give an example here. For example, you have to implement an e-commerce solution and you have a story that to that customer users can do the payment through credit card. So based so one by one you ask from the team members that how much, like for example, if that story is more complex like any other story. So for example, another story was having complexity, it was more complex, and we have given that 3 points. Okay, and we think that the story reference, the story which we are right now talking about, it is more complex, slightly more complex than the baseline story, so we give it a 5 points. Okay, and then we think that if we take another story and ask the other team members to give their points and give their opinion, so we compare it with the baseline story. If the baseline which says that the new story which we are talking about, which for which the estimations are required are very complex, are more than 5 points, so we will give 8 points. So based on that, our experiences team give the story points to the stories, and basically see this means that the hours, the points which we are giving to the stories are not based on hours. Actually, it is based on the complexity level. So we compare each story with the with the baseline stories and give points to that. So based on that, once the all the team member given their points to the stories, so we accommodate them, we align them, and we can say, for example, we can say there are two stories are having 3 points, five stories, one story having 5 points, there are two stories which are having 8 points. So how we are accommodating that, how we are complicating, how we are calculating that based on the complexity and based on the comparison of one story with another, we assign a number to it, and that is called as the story points. um, Friend, that is the concept of a story. Here I just want to give you a very simple example of stories. Like for example, you can also make a story point, like for example story of, point 1, like there are two stories, like as a site visitor I want to visit the about page to know more about services. So we have given 1 point to this story. Another story, that as a site visitor I want to log in slash sign up using my email slash password. See, we have given this as 1 point, and because it is this story is slightly complex than this story, so that's why we have given this as a 3 points. Then as a logged in user I want to be able to add content on the website, title, description, media content like images, video, geolocation. So we have given this story as zero point 0.8. So again compare this story with that story, like for example as a site visitor I want to visit the about page to know more about services. So see, this story has zero point 0.1, story 0.1, and if you compare this story with that story, so it has a story 0.8. So you can see that the story point has a comparison approach, like we compare the stories with the other stories. So you can say that this will become as your baseline story. So whenever we are calculating the story points, we just compare the story with the baseline stories and calculate the story points based on their complexity level. So that is called as the concept of story points here, friend. Normally for scaling of story points, we use numbering like 1, 2, 4, 8, 16. These are story methods. Another is like for example x small, small, medium, large, extra large, extra. So these are this concept is there. Another is Fibonacci sequence, like 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21. So these are all are the scales for story point estimation. So friend, thank you. Thanks a lot for your time, and that's all from my side. Thank you.